This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Government urged to outline policy to ensure workers' safety as the work from home ends. There is a push for the government to outline clear policies to ensure the safety of public sector employees returning to work amid the fourth wave of COVID-19. The issue was raised on Tuesday by Helen Davis White, president of the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions, following concerns by public sector workers about the end of the work-from-home arrangement. Mrs. Davis White believes that the government should urgently pass the Occupational Safety and Health Act, which would set out clear and enforceable policies to ensure workers' safety. We believe that this whole issue of the COVID-19 and the variant and what are the protocols and so on should actually be taken up under the Occupational Safety and Health Act once it comes into force, and therefore we believe that everything should be done now to ensure that this act actually passed and is able to be implemented in both public and private sectors, she asserted while speaking on the news. At the same time, the Jamaica Employers Federation has said the government should monitor COVID-19 hospitalizations before a decision is made to reimpose the mandatory work-from-home order for public sector workers.
These are things that have to be made clear, and that the policies should be properly written, and in the context of the Occupational Safety and Health Act, it would be something that is mandatory in terms of these kinds of policies being enforced. So we believe that this whole issue of the COVID-19 and the variants and what are the protocols and so on should actually be taken up under the Occupational Safety and Health Act once it comes into force, and therefore we believe that everything should be done now to ensure that this act actually is passed and is able to be implemented in both public and private sectors.
David Wan, who is president of the JEF, argued that while COVID cases are increasing, hospitalizations remain low. The more critical one for me is what is the number of people hospitalized. Last time I looked, it was a little over 100, and my information is that we have about 700 COVID beds in Jamaica. So the capacity of the COVID beds is down about 15%, he pointed out. So I think they will be watching the hospitalization figure even more closely than the new case figure, because I've seen data from other countries where the numbers of new cases rose steeply, but the number of hospitalizations and the death was not following the rise in the cases. So it is indicating that this is a much milder form of the disease, but the data is not fully in yet, he concluded.
Even though the number of new cases is skyrocketing, so to speak, increasing very significantly, and that's an important measure. But the real, more critical one for me is what the number of people hospitalized. Last time I looked, it was a little over 100, and my information is that we have about 700 COVID beds in Jamaica. So the capacity of the COVID bed is down about 15%. So I think they'll be watching that hospitalization figure even more closely than the new case figure, because I've seen data from other countries where the numbers of new cases rose steeply, but the number of hospitalizations and deaths was not following the rise in the cases. So it's indicating that this is a much milder form of the disease, but the data is not fully in yet.
St. Catherine woman hit by car dies. 48-year-old Arlene Mitchell, a call center agent of Duncan's Road, Waterford in St. Catherine, died from injuries she sustained when she was hit by a motor car on Dawkins Drive in the parish on Monday, January 3. Reports from the Portmore police are that about 7 p.m., Mitchell attempted to cross the roadway when she was hit by a Toyota Premio motor car. She was assisted to hospital, where she died while undergoing treatment. The driver of the motor vehicle was warned for prosecution after recording a negative reading for alcohol. Investigations into the accident continue. Security heightened in some Spanish Town communities arising from shootings. The security forces have heightened their presence in some communities along St. John's Road in Spanish Town, St. Catherine, due to a spate of shootings. A man was shot and killed in the area this afternoon. It is believed that the attack was carried out by rival gunmen. Today's shooting came after 4 persons were shot last night as rival gunmen traded bullets. One of the injured persons is admitted in hospital in serious condition. The police say both incidents are under investigation. Residents say there have been incidents of sporadic gunfire in the area over the past week. Palacios arrested and charged by U.S. in assassination of Haitian president. Colombian Maria Antonia Palacios has been charged with a conspiracy to commit murder or kidnapping outside the United States in relation to the assassination of former Haitian President Jovenel Moïse. The 43-year-old ex-Colombian army officer is also charged with providing material support resulting in death, knowing or intending that such material support would be used to prepare for or carry out the conspiracy to kill or kidnap. The charges were disclosed in a statement by the United States Department of Justice on Tuesday. Palacios was arrested in Jamaica in October and was being deported to his native Colombia on Monday when Interpol notified him during a stopover in Panama that the U.S. government was extraditing him. The U.S. Department of Justice said Palacios agreed to travel to the U.S. during his layover in Panama. He is currently in custody and will appear in federal court for his initial appearance later Tuesday. If convicted of the charges in the complaint, Palacios faces a maximum sentence of life imprisonment, the statement said. Opposition disappointed with the cockpit country mining approval. The opposition People's National Party says it is disappointed with the decision of the Natural Resources Conservation Authority to grant a permit for the mining of lands that are part of the cockpit country in St. Ann via Special Mining Lease SML 173. The decision was announced yesterday and saw Noranda Bauxite been given permission to mine 1,324 hectares of their lands in the protected area of St. Ann. It was noted that the allocation is much smaller than the 8,335 hectares for which Noranda had applied. Although the permit is for a smaller parcel of land than requested, we believe the decision of the environmental regulator is counter to its mandate to protect and to preserve Jamaica's environment, including the sensitive and important cockpit country, said spokesperson on land, environment and climate change, Sophia Fraser-Binns, in a statement today. The role that the cockpit country plays in Jamaica's survival and our way of life must not be taken lightly, Fraser-Binns added. She believes that the cockpit country must be off limits to mining. Fraser-Binns is calling for urgent legislative protection of the cockpit country protected area, as well as the establishment of buffer zones. She is also calling for the government to establish a multi-sectorial, multidisciplinary committee to commence in earnest the exploration of alternatives to bauxite mining. The evidence is clear that both time and the mining lands are running out. Fraser-Binns is appealing to Prime Minister Andrew Holness not to override the decision of the NRCA in the event that Noranda appeals the entity's decision. She is arguing that this would be a retrograde step and contrary to his oath to work in the best interest of Jamaicans. Our very future depends on how we protect and preserve the environment, and the Prime Minister must lead the charge, she said. 385 more COVID-19 cases, 2 additional fatalities. 2 more COVID-19 deaths have been recorded in Jamaica, increasing the tally to 3,479. The deceased are a 67-year-old man and a 42-year-old man, both from Kingston and St. Andrew. Meanwhile, there were 385 new cases, with ages ranging from 18 days to 94 years, pushing the total to 96,331. Of the new infections, 247 are women and 138 are men. The parish breakdown is as follows: Kingston and St. Andrew 153, St. James 52, St. Catherine 51, St. Anne 26, St. Mary 26, Manchester 23, Trelawney 15, Westmoreland 13, Clarendon 11, St. Thomas 6, St. Elizabeth 5, Hanover and Portland 2. A total of 1,111 tests were conducted. The country's positivity rate stands at 40.6%. In the meantime, there were 127 more recoveries, increasing the total to 66,064. Some 172 persons are in hospital, with 40 being moderately ill, 20 severely ill, and 4 critically ill. 4 persons are in government quarantine, while 21,570 are at home. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.